see. And I won't have your name to call, 'cause I will be the last to fall.
The missing, the murdered. The families are desperate for answers.
And Debbie called me and told me that she'd been murdered. And that's how I found out.
Paranormal experiences from ghostly confrontations, cryptid creatures like Mothman.
If this isn't disturbing enough, we gotta show you something. Over here.
To UFO encounters and more.
And in the sky was an object that looked like the size of a satellite, and all of a sudden the thing starts doing S-turns.
With over 24% of North America being mountainous, the number of mysteries is astronomical. These are the Mountain Mysteries. With a studio base in the heart of the Appalachian Mountains, here is your host, Chris Long.
If these mountains ever started to shed tears, they'd never stop. The name Israel means to struggle or wrestle with God. I've done quite a bit of that lately. I've tried wrapping my mind around what kind of a God would allow innocent people to be taken from us. The ones that we love. The ones this world needs more of. They're murdered, die in accidents or from disease. And while the others, they get to stay behind. Oscar Wilde once wrote that we are all each our own devils, and we make this world our own hell.
No. Oh, not again. Again. Come on, Chris. Pick up. Hey. I need you to come over for a minute. I'm having the dreams again. Yeah. Can you come now? Okay, thank you. I'm so sorry.
Anyone that has ever seen the live stream called Gatherings knows how close Stacia and I are. We've been that way for as long as I can remember. And what do you do when someone you're that close to calls on you for any reason? You go. No matter the time or place, you go to them. So that's exactly what I did. Now, I'd be lying to you or not telling you the truth if I said I knew exactly what was about to happen. But to be honest, I really wasn't thinking about that at the time. Oh, but I'd find out. Look, it's not that I doubt your mad skills. But are you sure this wasn't just a dream?
How many years have we been doing this? Talking about this, doing this. And whenever I tell you about the dreams and things that are going on with me, I leave a lot of the things out. I can't leave this out.
Why? I mean, Stacia,
The torture that this child went through.
yeah, but it's 3-4 years ago. And it's already been solved. There's no mountain mystery to it.
No
Her
mystery.
prick dad killed her, and now he's getting passed around a jail cell like a peace pipe.
Something's calling me to her. And you know, when I tell you that, I've got to listen to my heart. Yeah, I've been sick. Everybody knows that.
Yeah, I do.
I get it.
Your husband, the last thing that we want is to lose you.
I get it.
That can't happen.
But I have to follow my heart. You know that. I can't let it go. I can't let her, I can't hear her crying anymore to me. I've got to do something to not let her be forgotten. To at least let her know that we care.
This thing's where she's at. She knows. I'm going to get some to drink.
Chris, I need to talk to you about some things.
What about?
Every time that Stacy gets a feeling or something comes over her or anything to that nature, it just completely wears her down. She can't sleep. She's up. She can't function. I mean, it takes me a week or two almost to get her back to normal. It's just really, really bad when this stuff happens.
Well, I knew it was bad. I didn't know it was that bad.
But
So what do you want me to do?
I mean, what I really need you to do is, I'm thinking that you're the only one that can talk to her and try to help her through this. I need your help.
Man, look, I'd love for her to walk away from this shit. You saw it earlier. I tried to talk her out of this. I've known her since she was 8 years old. It's a part of who she is. I can't. Asking her not to do this is like saying, don't be you. Don't be who you are. The only thing I can promise is that if I'm going to do this shit,
You're the only one that can help her. You're the only one that can get through to her.
if I'm going to do this, I'll be there for her. That's all I can promise.
Okay.
But I mean, I'll do everything I can.
I appreciate it. That's the only thing I can ask.
How could anybody have a problem on a day like this? If I told you that I was all gung-ho about this whole thing, that'd be a crock of it. I know every time Stace gets involved in something like this, whatever this is, it takes a piece out of her. Yeah, she helps people, but it takes something from her. I could already see that this was taking more than any of us were comfortable with. You know, I've done over 80 episodes of this thing in the form of an audio podcast by myself, for the most part. And it's jacked with me in ways that I never expected. I can't even start to imagine what it would do to her. To be honest, I wasn't sure I wanted her to go along with this. I'm still not. One of the good things about what I did for a living in radio and, well, what I do now in this media thing is that I've gotten to meet and hang out with some really cool people. I met and spent some time with Eddie Money, Taylor Dane, and, well, that list goes on. And then the guy here, Tyler Main. Now, he was well known for playing Michael Myers in Rob Zombie's remix of Halloween, and, you know, he also played Sabretooth in the Deadpool Wolverine film, and, oh yeah, you might have heard of this one. Remember the movie with Brad Pitt called Troy? Yeah. Well, he played Ajax in that movie. And a bunch of other things. I'm sorry, my mind wanders from time to time. Good thing, I guess. Otherwise, I'd go crazy.
Hey.
Hey, baby, what's up? How are you doing?
I'm alright. How about you?
You know.
Yeah, I do. You know, I miss her too.
It'd be a lot easier if she were here. She believed in the podcast. She believed in the gatherings.
Chris. She believed in you. In what we do.
It was April 4th, 2010, and I went to labor, had Stacia. I remember it was one of the most exciting days of my life. I remember just being overly joyed about it. And then watching her grow up and stuff, it was amazing. You know, she was so intelligent. She picked up on things very quickly. And she loved being center of attention. There was nobody who she wouldn't at least try to be a friend with. And, but even if she wasn't friends with somebody, you know, if somebody was hurting or, you know, not so good of a mood or something like that, she was always first to, you know, try to joke around or tell them a joke or do something crazy and goofy just to bring a smile to their face. She was very good about that. She felt like she accomplished, you know, something, and as long as she could put a smile on your face, she done her job. When I heard about it, the circumstances of me not being there, her dad was supposed to, he came and got me from work. We got into an argument there at my workplace in the parking lot, and he kicked me out of the car. And he didn't bring her to work with him, or to pick me up from work. So I'm thinking there that he probably knew, you know, that he was going to kick me out of the car. And that's probably the reasoning of why he didn't bring her with him, because before that, he was always bringing her with him to pick me up. But told me, I wasn't allowed to don't come back to the property, the trailer or nothing like that, because we had our trailer on his mom's lot. He told me that his mom would have me trespassed if I even tried to come. So I went through the proper channels of, what I was advised to do in order to, seek my custody back of her. Not per se custody legally, but just her in my possession. Therefore, where he kicked me out of the car, I was rendered homeless. So at that point, I had to try to make a place for her. On August 5th, I called state police and social workers because I had spoke with him a few times over the phone. Well, I mean, plenty of times, but like his whole demeanor had changed like the last week before all this happened, and it just wasn't sitting right with me. So I called state police and social workers, and I advised them that I was in fear of him hurting her or hurting himself. And that day, the state police came out. They, I guess, made sure she was okay, they say on the paperwork, but they didn't even separate her to ask her any questions or nothing. And I'm pretty sure she was just following what he would tell her to say. They turn around and leave. The next morning, on the 6th of August, the social workers come out, but then they take her out of the home from him. But besides calling me or anything, the person who calls them, I hear nothing from them. And they take her out of the home and place her right next door, like 10 feet from our place, with his mother. I didn't even find out that they had took her out of the home and placed her with him, or with his mother, until he told me about it on the phone. So I don't know why I was left in the dark there. I have no clue. But on August the 11th, well, the 10th is when he took her. But on August 11th, I had a friend call me that was listening to the scanner, and they had told me, both of our names were being ran. I was thinking about it. Well, the only thing that we have in both of our names is our trailer and the car. Well, then I hear they're passing what's being said over the scanner to me as it's being said. So then I hear that an assault up on the Van Leer strip job. So I start getting, worried and all that. Then I call the sheriff's office and I ask them if it was anything major. I said, I need you to, patch me over to the sheriff at the time, Doug Saylor. And they tell me, well, they're very reluctant. And I tell them about the text message he had sent me, asking me if I want to speak to my daughter one last time. They make me send them a copy or, screenshot of what he sent and all that before they will connect me with the sheriff. And, but once they do, I tell the sheriff, I haven't seen or heard from her. I said, you're right above our house or place. I said, somebody needs to stop in there and see if she's there. I was hoping, that she'd be upstairs up on her, phone or laptop, something like that, just not paying attention or, to my phone calls. I wouldn't have cared if she was mad at me, to tell you the truth, as long as she would have been okay. But anyways, it didn't work like that. They did have somebody stop down there, but Stacia was not there, and they called me, though, to let me know she wasn't there, and I'm actually speaking to one of the social workers as they are there, and they go upstairs to see, and they tell me right there is her phone and her laptop laying on the bed at his mother's house upstairs. And right then my stomach dropped, and because the thing is, if anyone knew her, they knew that she loved her phone, and she didn't go anywhere without that phone. But yeah, right then everything started like clicking in my brain. That text message he had sent, the reports of an assault up there, not being able to get a hold of her. had the worst fear in the world right then come over me. And I tried to shake it off, but it just wouldn't go away. And so when I'm on the phone with the sheriff's office, they asked me, he's like, well, are you sure she ain't in school? And I was like, no, I'm not. I was like, actually, and right then I was like, Summer, you're crazy, hoping that, that's like, does Summer, that's exactly where she's at. Well, I was like, I'll call the school right now, and I said, and see if she's there, and I said, I will call y'all back and let you know. Well, I call the school, and they tell me, no, that she's not present. It's like the second day of school when I call. Then I was like, well, okay, can you all tell me, was she present yesterday? And they look on the computers. No, she was absent the first day of school as well. Yeah, then I'm convinced, though, something's wrong. I need to find her, I know something's happened now. Whether, it be her getting dropped off somewhere or whatever, I didn't know. I just knew that something wasn't right. Something wasn't adding up. So we start, trying to brainstorm every possibility anywhere he might have dropped her off at, because by then is found, whenever that his incident on the strip job wasn't an assault. It was actually a self-inflicted gunshot wound. I was frantic, and the people who helped, I know they were trying their best to, locate her and all that, hoping that he had dropped her off before, he'd done anything and went up there himself or anything like that, and all that happened. We was hoping he dropped her off at the fridge, just anything, but that information never came, because there was nowhere for her to be found at. I was in Elizabethtown at the time whenever they had located her finally, and I was still hoping, that she was going to be found somewhere, but then it wasn't like that. I was on my way back to Paintsville that night, and reports start coming across on the internet before I even speak with the sheriff, and telling me that, her body had been found, all that. So it was pretty devastating to get, the information, or for everybody else to know, what was going on before I even got the word of it. Still to this day, I don't know why I wasn't informed, sooner. I really don't know. I've asked, but that answer's never been given to me. But it took a little bit for me to even ask, what happened or anything like that. But then they tell me, that she had also passed away from a gunshot wound. Okay, well, but then it gets worse by me finding out it wasn't just one gunshot wound, it was 3 gunshot wounds. The way that they've said it to me is that he passed by the school that morning. He turned up Route 3. Okay, so she knew that she wasn't going to school, and I hate to know what was going through her mind, when he passed the school up and then turns up Route 3 and then turns up strip job, I don't know. But said at some point she must have, realized or caught on to what was going to happen, or what he was getting ready to try to do, or that something wasn't right, and that he must have slowed down or stopped the car, or one, and she jumps out of the car and takes off running. And that then I guess he speeds up in the car, catches her. She's never been up that strip job. That was the first time ever she'd ever been to that strip job. So she jumps out of that car and takes off running in a place that she has no clue where she's at or where to go or anything. But he catches up with her in the vehicle while she's on foot running, and he pulls, or already has the gun in his hand, I really don't know, but he ends up catching up with her, and when he catches up with her, he delivers 3 shots to her. 1 went in through the chest, 2 through the, 1 in the back, because it's 2 in the back really, but the 1 came out through the chest and it hit a main artery right there. That's what killed her. But, well, I mean, that's what would have killed her. But that last 3rd shot, I guess he just wants to finalize it, and he gets out and they said that the last shot was to her, well, I mean, they figure it's the last shot, was to her left temple. But the 1 shot that went through her main artery would have killed her, they said, in just a small amount of time she would have bled out. So the 1 to her temple wasn't even necessary, neither was the other. But, you know, he, I guess, didn't want to sit there a few seconds longer with her. I don't know why, but so he, you know, delivers that like kill shot, pretty much execution to her. But that was by far the worst day of my life. I'm 43 now. So far, it was the worst day of my life in 43 years. But I'm sure, however long I live, then that day that I die, I can look back and that day was probably still hold as the worst day of my life. I'd rather him die the same type of death that he made her endure.
I think he should have got more, more of a penalty, but then again, looking at everything, the whole picture, he'll be in the penitentiary the rest of his life. I don't foresee him getting out.
You know, one of the things this podcast tries to do, at least, is expel rumors and seek truth. I've never been a big fan of rumors. People who don't know spreading what they don't know to people who have even less of an idea and probably care even less. I thought that not only should Stacia's mom tell the story of how this coward murdered this beautiful little girl, because she knew it better than anyone, but after talking to Stacia, we determined that going to the very place that it happened may also give us some insight as to what, or rather why, it happened. I mean, what was the motive behind this? What could possibly convince anyone to do something like this? I'll never wrap my head around it. But we were about to uncover things. And some things, as I'd find out, are better left covered. We were on top of an abandoned strip mine. I mean, this place wasn't even a goat's path. No self-respecting goat could be found here. But we came to a point where Stacia suddenly blurted out, "Stop!" So I did. And Caden, Stacia's son, gets out, and he found this unicorn doll plush toy that we assumed was from the site where this little girl was murdered. Caden had the idea that perhaps a stray dog had carried it from the site and dropped it off here. I can agree with that. Our Stacia led us to the site with guts and intuition alone. A feeling. The sicker she became, the closer we were. You know, I'll never not be amazed by whatever gifts it is that she possesses. When we got there, the air was cooler. The light was dimmer. And it seemed like all hope had been drained from this world itself. All we could do was stand there, in tears. Stace was working on cleaning the memorial up. The memorials that were left to a beautiful young life that had been tragically cut far too short and far too soon.
Picking this spot, huh?
Of all the places I could have picked.
And on this gurney, there was something covered up with a white sheet. And they just pulled the sheet down. And when they pulled the sheet down, I stood there still numb. I went over and I touched April's face. I touched her arms. It was cold. It was clammy.